You ever wanted to play a live show and have like all of the big cinematic like and just like craziness going on with you while you're playing live? Well, you're gonna need backtracks. Sorry. What's up, guys? I'm Brian with Musician's Resource, and today we're going to go into how to actually make the backtracks. So let's dive into Pro Tools. So first thing that you want to do whenever you open up Pro Tools is get all of your stems and everything imported. From this song, I had bass, clean guitar, click, drums, lead guitar, everything. And you want those on different stems because you want to be able to control the volumes differently for each track. For this particular band, the way that they want to run it is they've got all their post-pro and everything. They're going to run that through the backtracks. Everything else is going to be in the drummer's ears. So he wants to hear things like the bass, the rhythm guitars, the vocals, all that on his side with the click, whereas the band plays with just the actual post-pro. Now, that sounds complicated, that sounds weird, and if you don't understand signal flow, then it can get kind of funky. But the moral of the story is backtracks go left, click, and anything the drummer wants to hear goes right. And whenever you plug in live, the way that you run it is you run the click and everything to the drummer, you run the post-pro to the front of the house sound, and everyone plays off the drummer. So let's get started. For this one, just real quick, setting it up, we've got our post-pro running to bus 1, which I've created these auxiliary sends just to be able to route Pro Tools and be able to actually talk and you guys hear everything that I'm doing. I made it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but more realistically, you route everything to one channel on the left that's going to be played from the house. That's going to be your post-pro, all that stuff. And you'll run your click, and I have a cue in there for him, and you run those to the right side. Okay, I just realized if I'm recording, and I also am running a mic in front of me that the speakers are going to play, and it's going to get really distorted. So let's try that again. Okay, and so what you just heard, that's the cue on the right side with the click and everything. It's pretty basic setting up backtracks and doing all that. You run everything that you want the crowd to hear to the left. You want everything that the drummer hears to the right. Now you want to have a click track. That way you don't screw this up and the drummer starts playing a little bit too fast and then your guitars are cueing off of him and you've got a cluster of just noise at that point because the piano, the strings, the synth, and everything else in the track that's not going to change speed. But if you guys if you're not syncopated with a click, then it's going to be a nightmare live. Now, one thing that you might run into, like with this band, the drummer wants to actually hear the guitars and everything while the song is playing. That way he can kind of keep his location in the track. So what we do is we just find that rhythm guitar stem, which right here, let's make that a little bit bigger. And we know that this right here is when, those rhythms are playing. This will help him hold his place a little bit better. So we route this instead of going to bus 1, because bus 1 would be our house, which is what the audience hears. Let's turn around and route that over to his ears. And so turn off the mute, and this is what you get. So for that intro part, now that it's cool, there's guitars there, but now if I'm a drummer and I'm listening to that live, which by the way, your boy, I'm a drummer. If I'm a drummer and I'm hearing that live, then that's gonna throw me off because with just hearing that guitar as loud it is relative to the click, he's screwed. He's not gonna be able to find the click and you're back to square one when it comes to losing syncopation. So let's dial it down just a little bit. And let's hear that. All right, it's still pretty loud because you got 2 tracks routing into one, but yeah, just dial it down. Don't be scared. The biggest thing is he needs to hear the click the loudest. he needs to hear the supporting elements of the song, like those need to be underneath it. So when he cranks it, he's not just going to blow his eardrums out if he needs to. Now, that is much better. Cool. Now, just to give him a little bit more placement, I'm going to go ahead and give him more elements of the track. And it's really easy to do if you made your stems right. These are called stem groups. And this is the lead guitar. So let's hear what that sounds like. Which route it over to our bus 2. And that's going to be entirely too loud, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop it real quick. All right. Cool. That, to me, I feel like that's going to give him all the placement that he really needs. Yeah, I don't feel like there's much more that he's going to want. Bass is just going to muddy it up with that guitar and everything. And we'll give him the clean guitars during the verses. That's definitely going to help him out. All right. Same process. You guys know the drill. Bus 1, bus 2. So you notice the left side is going to be a little bit louder than the right. That's because that's what you want the volumes up. For him, you want the click to be the main focal part of that of his mix. I'm going to go ahead and slap my mastering on. Now, I use mastering just to get the volume. It's the Slate FGX. I'm just using this to get the volume up. I'm basically using it like a limiter. You don't need some mastering bundle for this. Just use the limiter, get it up to par volume wise, and get it decent. That way, whenever he plugs in on his mixer, he can boost it the rest of the way. You don't have to get this up to like competitive ranges, like if you were going to listen to it on Spotify or the radio or whatever. Just get your volume up reasonably high, and don't crush it, because if it's limited and crushed, then the PA at the house, they're just going to get a wall of sound, and it's like, nah, give them some headroom. So when they boost, it sounds huge and it doesn't just sound like... Yeah, you don't want that. So let's listen to it. This is where we're at. Cool. Now when the drummer's playing, he has all the reference that he needs as far as where he's at in the song, and he's got a click that he can hear. Everything's should be good there. One last note about whenever you throw any kind of mastering or anything like that, make sure that you put a mono mastering on each channel, because if you have a stereo master, like if I just came and put it right here, then what ends up happening is the click, which is going to be louder than the rest of the tracks, will actually make that pump. And I've had that where, you're listening to the backtrack live, and while there's no actual click sound, the volume is reacting because it's reacting to both sides. So you end up having like a post-pro track that it's just pumping in time. And it's like, yeah, that sounds like crap live. Don't do that. As far as my little cue that I make, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. I literally just use stock boom from Pro Tools. And it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, go. And if they miss that, you practice the song more. Like, you can't, as a producer, as the guy making the backtracks, I can't do anything more for you. All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps up how to make backtracks. If you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It really helps the channel. And yeah, catch you guys next time. Yeah, I've been getting into filming, and I actually just recently learning how to fly a drone and stuff, and I feel like I wish this video had some kind of like epic B-roll or something like that I could have worked in.